Hello everyone, welcome to Medwiki. Today we have with us Dr. Rahul Mehra, Executive Chairman, Tarang Health Alliance, one of the topmost NGOs promoting health education in India. Welcome, Dr. Mehra. We are so glad to have you here with Medwiki. Thanks for coming on board.
Thank you, Prerna. I appreciate the opportunity.
Dr. Mehra, your journey from research scientist to starting an NGO, especially focusing on health education, is truly inspiring. So, could you briefly tell us about the mission of your NGO? Like, why did you think that health education is so critical that you actually flew to India, to start a particular NGO and then promote health education among our youth?
So, the reason why I started the NGO was as a research scientist, I was in charge of India for market development of my company before I retired in India, and I saw the length and the breadth of India, and I concluded that the need for India and the Indian population was not so much high technology, high tech devices, but teaching children and adults how to have nutritious food, how to have healthy, hygienic habits, and prevent diseases. And that's why I started the NGO. So, the mission of NGO is really to implement a comprehensive school health program in schools. And the reason why I chose schools is because when children are young, their brain is still being developed. If they can form good health habits at that age, those health habits will stay with them through adulthood. So that's sort of the goal of the NGO. Our mission really is that we implement comprehensive school health program in schools. And what does that mean? That means we have a curriculum and we implement the curriculum in schools, health curriculum. We train teachers. And the third thing we do is that we do advocacy with
Okay.
policymakers. And the reason being that we want to change policy so that health education becomes compulsory in every school in India.
You have a really great mission and vision and promoting health education in India and Indian children. That's a very great thing that you've thought about. While you were discussing that while you were working abroad, but you saw the status of India and you thought that the health in India is not at par. So, what do you think are the basic health diseases or health conditions that you saw are most in India and which needs a real attention here?
India has many diseases. As you know, infectious diseases are very common in India, all kinds of infectious diseases. And now, non communicable diseases like heart disease, diabetes, cancer, these are becoming very common in India. So we have what we call the dual burden of diseases, communicable and non communicable.
Okay. Yeah. And how do you think that they can be prevented? Like just educating them at this end, will do you think that this is going to work out for the long term and for the entire population, or there are some more measures that India needs to take for this?
No, we have obviously started small because we are doing lots of programs in in a few states, but it has to grow. And what I mean by that is that every school in India should teach health education, have a comprehensive school health program, and we need to teach children about hygiene, about healthy diet, about why they should not be smoking, and also about mental and social health. So, when I use the word health, I mean it in a very comprehensive way. It means physical, mental, and social health.
So you have touched all the three dimensions of health. That means that you are focusing with all these three dimensions with the students here. So with this, other than the students, is there any other focus? Like, are you connecting with their families also to promote the health component?
Yes, we are, because we can teach children what is a healthy and a balanced diet. But as you well know, the parents control what is eaten by the children at home. And therefore,
Right.
if we don't educate the parents, the children cannot influence the diet. So, as part of our comprehensive school
Definitely.
health program, we talk to the parents of these students, hopefully at least once a month for 1 hour. It can be a physical meeting or it can be on some kind of an online platform.
That's great. Yeah. So, as you mentioned that you focus on diet, on physical activity, quitting tobacco and all those things. So, based on your experience, what are the top three lifestyle habits that everyone should adapt to stay healthy?
Yeah, I think the top three that would come to my mind is number one is nutrition. Indian
Okay.
diet is not the most nutritious diet uh, right now, and there are many reasons for that. Number two would be hygiene. Hygiene means washing hands properly, making sure that you are not touching surfaces that are contaminated, um, s- and how to cough, how to wash your hands. And the third thing I would say is physical activity. We are not very The children are not very physically active nowadays. The children who are in the big cities and who have money in their pocket tend to be very addicted to technology, whether it's cell phones or it's television. And this has become a major problem in urban centers in India. That is lack of physical activity. In the more rural areas, I think it's less of an issue.
Okay, so as you just mentioned that the students or the kids here are more inclined towards technology. So, what do you think? How is it impacting? Is it just that they are not getting time to go physically active, or there are any other things that are impacting their health, and how can they control it?
The use of cell phone, as is well published now, is an addiction. The same way we get addicted to tobacco with nicotine, cell phone is also an addiction. And it's a global problem. It's not only a problem in India, it's a problem all over the world. And we have to be very careful when to give technology to children and how to monitor that it is being used safely and not used excessively. As you know, social media can be very addictive. So that's creating a lot of mental health problems among youth all over the world, especially in India.
As we just mentioned, that this can also impact the mental health, not just being not being physically active a lot. So, do you think that healthy lifestyle is also important for managing stress? Like these days, even small kids have their own stress of going to school, coming back, long hours, and all those things. So, is there the good lifestyle, healthy lifestyle can help them manage their stress as well in children?
Yes, no, absolutely. Healthy lifestyles can manage stress. And, you know, physical activity is one of the most important things one can do to manage mental stress. But beyond that, there are other things we can do. We can do yoga, we can do meditation, uh, and there are other techniques to relieve mental stress. Talking with parents openly, making sure you manage your time very well. So, there are many techniques one can use to manage your mental stress apart from the technology issue that we discussed before.
So, touching on the third aspect of health, like we have discussed some about nutrition, physical activity, and about mental health. So, the third aspect of health, which is social health. So, why is it happening? Like, why do we say that the social health is also deteriorating? Um, Children are going to the school, they are having a playtime in the societies. So, why is this impacting their social health?
Yes, social health is in two. One is that when children have free time, they're not playing with other children as much as they used to. They're on their cell phone, addicted to social media, whatever, and that has impacted their social lifestyle. And not only that, even at home now, In many families, both the parents are working. It used to be that one parent used to work and the other parent was home. And when the child came home, the child could communicate with their mother or father or whoever is at home. And social bonding between the children, their parents, their grandparents. And now, when both the parents are working, social bonding with the children between the parent and the child becomes a little bit more challenging because they come home, the child may be alone for a few hours, and they may be on using technology to pass the time. And when they come home, the parents are busy. So the social health of the children is slowly being degraded for both these reasons.
Yeah, so I think nuclear family is one of the major reasons. And parents working out, I can completely relate whenever you are a little, tied up, you just the only option you have is that okay, you go and watch an episode so that I can handle my things here. So I can completely relate to what you're saying here. Yeah. So, as you mentioned about a curriculum, the comprehensive curriculum that you have created for health education. So, where in India are you currently focusing on implementing this curriculum?
Yeah, this year we have the curriculum is being implemented in about 30 schools in three areas. Number one is Delhi itself. We are working with some private schools in Delhi. The second is in Haryana, and Haryana includes Delhi NCR, for example, Faridabad and Gurgaon are part of Haryana. So we are implementing it in Haryana as well as in Panchkula, which is near Chandigarh. So Delhi NCR, Chandigarh area, and the third area we are implementing this program is in Jaipur. This is the current program, and we hope to expand next year to two additional states.
So, how long have you been running this program in India till now?
The program started in 2020, just at the time of the pandemic, which was a very stressful beginning for us because we didn't expect the pandemic in 2020. But anyway, we went ahead and we had just two schools at that time in Delhi, two private schools. And as I mentioned, now we have 30 schools, and out of the 30 schools, 12 schools are government schools and 18 schools are private schools. So we work in both private and government schools. And as I mentioned, we would like to expand to different states. And our long term goal is that the government should take this on, make it part of their curriculum. And that is why we conduct a lot of advocacy with the policymakers in India as well as in different states.
So, of course, I can relate to that. Starting just from two schools, you've grown up to 30. So that means that the NGO is doing quite well in India. And we also hope to have, this program in different states covering all over India because it's such a important topic that you have picked up. So, talking a little more about health, any quick health message that you would like to give to our audience? So, basically, three or few tips that you would like to just shoot on them so that they can keep it in their brain.
I think to the adults who are watching this session, I would say you are the role models of health. If you smoke, don't be surprised your children will smoke. If you watch a lot of cell phone and watch a lot of TV, don't be surprised that your children do the same thing. So my first message would be to the adults that be cognizant that whatever you are doing, your children are observing you and they will do exactly that now or when they grow up to be. So that's my first message to the adults. And I think to children, my key message is you can enjoy life. You can have fun in schools. You can be socially active. You can be physically active. You can be mentally active. So being healthy does not mean that you're not enjoying your school life, but it requires being mindful of it. It requires a certain amount of discipline, making sure that you have the right kind of friends and your friends are not pushing you or or putting peer pressure on you to use things that are not healthy for you, for example, tobacco or other kinds of drugs. So that would be my key message to children.
Yeah. So one thing that comes out from this discussion is that tobacco is a major thing, but even if we say that the access to snacks, to unhealthy foods, to cold drinks, it is so easily accessible to children these days. So and we keep telling our children that don't go ahead, these are unhealthy, you have sugar in it. But the parties, the birthday parties, so every second day they have a birthday party in their class. So how can we as parents promote healthy lifestyle that we can save our children from this issue?
Right. So if your child is having a birthday party, it is not important. We've been brought up with this system that you have to have a cake. Sugar has become part of the culture. We have to change this culture. You can bring nuts to the school, you can give something else, which is much healthier. It may be slightly expensive, but you don't have to always bring sugary stuff. And keep in mind that the World Health Organization guidelines are that nobody should have more than 6 teaspoons of sugar in a day. So if you're having a birthday party every day and there's a cake being brought in or cookies being brought in, these children are eating a lot of sugar. And as you all know,
Right,
sugar is the new tobacco. We call sugar the new tobacco. The way adults used to get, or they still get addicted to tobacco, now children are getting addicted to sugar. So you have to
sugar.
limit the amount of sugar. Use natural sugars. You don't have to have a cake. You don't have to have sweet dish. Eat fruits. Fruits are just as sweet. A mango can be just as sweet as anything else and much more delicious. So you have to instill these habits when your children are young by doing it yourself. You cannot be eating a cake and telling your child to eat a mango. You have to practice what
Right,
you preach.
right. So I think for our viewers here, we can say, including myself, that when you give mango to your child, don't say we are giving you a fruit. Say it's a sweet fruit that we can include to, compensate your sugary food. That's a very good idea. I mean, this if this gets implemented, then we can really save our children. Because as you mentioned in the early few minutes back, that the heart diseases, diabetes, everything is a lot. And the lifestyle today, like we the children are in the school for so long, but still they are just going for a physical activity session for maybe just twice in a week or something. So, would you like to share some insights that you have faced some challenges related to this?
No, I think firstly, every parent and every child should be aware of the fact that everyone should be physically active for at least about an hour a day.
I was just asking this 1 hour a day goes for the children as well as adults for both. Uh,
Exactly, for both. Um, yeah, you can also do uh, other kinds of activities, but even walking is physical activity, bicycling is physical activity, sports is physical activity. So every child and every parent should be aware of the fact that they should all be active, and they can be active together. You can go out for a walk after dinner. During a weekend on a Sunday, you can take your child to a park and play with the
uh,
child. You're being active as well as the child is being active, and it's a fun activity, going to a park or going to some place and just enjoying the family being together. So that physical activity is something that we sometimes don't do together as a family. And of course, if it's extremely hot, you can say, or raining, I cannot go outside. You can do it at home. You can do yoga at home. You can do dancing at home. You can play a good Hindi music song that people like, and you can do bhangra at home. So there are, people make all kinds of excuses, but physical activity is fun, and the brain loves physical activity. It is one of the best ways to control depression among adults and also among children.
Yeah, I think physical activity is more seen as a tiresome thing. So, going for physical activity, going to the gym for 1 hour is going to strain me more rather than promoting anything. But the point that you said is, I think that physical activity will even help you out, but maybe, after a routine way. Once or twice when you go, it becomes really strenuous.
But
Yeah.
make it fun. I think the point I'm trying to make is physical activity has to be fun. If you don't enjoy it, you will not do it. If you don't like walking alone, take a friend along, take your dog along. If so, you have to find out what you enjoy.
Yeah, these are some nice tips. One more thing I would like to introduce here is like, my perception, which I've seen, like you just mentioned that on a weekend, take your family out and enjoy being physically active. So in India, what the trend I have been seeing since now, till now is like, we are working for the entire week. So in the weekend, we would like to get up late. We would like to watch something on Netflix or something in the night that takes you to 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. in the night to go to sleep. Then you get a plate and it destroys the complete cycle. So I think the point that you want to make here is that the everything should be in routine, even if it is a weekday or weekend. Am I right?
Yeah, the goal of a weekend is to have fun, and you have to redefine fun. If you're just watching movies, Netflix, if the point is you're missing out on a big part of the fun, which is spending time with your children as a
Family.
family. You can make it into a picnic. It can be fun activity. You go out to a park, you pack your lunch or whatever, or a snack, and you go out, you walk, you go. There are places where you can do boating. There are places you can just do bicycling. The point is you have to work together as a family and do things you enjoy. And it has to be more than just watching TV. Yes, I think TV has a role. I'm not saying one should not watch TV, but everything has to be done in moderation. Yes, watch TV, in moderation, but physical activity is much, much more important.
So I'm sure these were very crisp points that you had mentioned, and I'm sure every child there who is listening to us, or every parent who is listening to us, will have really crisp ideas, crisp key messages that will help them promote a healthy lifestyle. So we'll just go through a very small rapid fire session where I would like to see like what kind of, what things have you adapted so being physically so fit.
Oh, I walk
So
every day. I basically I love walking. The reason I love walking is because that is when I do my best thinking. So it serves two purposes for me. I walk, is physically active for an hour, and then while I'm walking, I'm thinking. I always walk alone. Now, some people may find that unusual. I do not walk with my wife. And the reason is very simple because I like to think. If I want to be social, then I'll walk with my wife. But if I want to think, I'll walk alone. So you have to do whatever you enjoy.
what one food you think everyone should eat each day, which you also eat in your daily routine?
Oh, well, I love fruits. So any kind of fruit that is in season. So it doesn't matter whether it's if bananas in seasons or mangoes on sea or cantaloupe is in season. I love fruit. I'll have fruit for breakfast most often, not every day, but I'll have, if I don't have it for breakfast, I'll have it during the day. And I eat fruit in many different ways. I'll eat just cut fruit, or I'll put it in yogurt. I love putting fruit inside yogurt and then putting some nuts in it and make it into like a parfait. It's yogurt with fruit in it with some nuts. It's a very healthy breakfast and I enjoy it. So I eat fruit every day.
So other than fruits, what is your go-to healthy snack? Like, just you can pick it up and move ahead.
Nuts. I always have bunch of nuts, and I know they're expensive, so I'm not trying to promote this way. It may not be the snack for everyone, but my go-to snack is nuts or even fruits. Fruit is in my dining table, the fruits are visible, make sure your fruits are visible to in the center of the dining table, because the eye goes there. When the table is completely empty, the fruit is lying there, the child will go to the fruit, the parent will go to the fruit. So
Right.
it's a very simple thing one can do. um,
So that ways you don't need to make a fruit time an agenda. Like, this is the time, have some fruit.
no, it should be there all the time, sitting on the dining table, and whenever you want a snack, you can have fruit, or if you want some nuts, you can have nuts.
So we have also discussed about few habits that are not good for health. Like, we were talking about not being physically active, watching a lot of TV or mobile phones, or tobacco, or, snacking a lot. So any one for the children, I would like to specifically ask here, the first one that you would like them to quit immediately out of all this would be what?
Well, the first one would be, when I travel in India, I find every place there are chips, snack chips. Every chips are full of salt. Salt
Right.
is bad for us. That is why almost one in two people in India have high blood pressure. High BP has become very common in India. We eat a lot of salty food. Children eat a lot of salty food. You go to a train station, all you'll find are chips there. Chips and some kind of these salty snacks. They're all kind of snacks. I can't even remember the
Right.
names of all these snacks. So please find a substitute. Don't eat these salty snacks.
The first one would be to, to go for better nutrition.
Yes,
Then, yeah.
exactly.
And what is your favorite stress relief activity? How do you reduce your stress?
My it's exactly what I said before. Walking alone is my best stress relieving activity. Although meditation, again, I meditate every morning, not for long, for 5 to 10 minutes, no more than five, and that's also a stress reliever. But between the two, doing meditation in the morning, that's the first thing I do when I get up in the morning. About 5 minutes of yoga and about 5 to 10 minutes of meditation. That starts my day in a very, my thoughts are very collected at that time. And then when I come to my desk, I do not want to read anything. I want to think for the first 20 minutes. I have I just have a blank piece of paper in front of me. I like to think, what happened yesterday? What was good? What was bad? How could I have done this better? I don't read anything. And then during the day, if I want to relieve stress, walking is one of the best activities that I enjoy doing.
So, when you move out somewhere, so do you prefer using escalators or lift, or you prefer walking through the stairs? Because I've seen you as, at this age also I've seen you much fit. So I don't know how will it fit in, but I really want this to go out to the audience.
No, I have a very simple rule. If it's up to 4 to 5 um, stories, I'll walk up. If, let's say somebody is living on the fourth story of an apartment building, I will never use the elevator. If I can see the stairs, I'll use the stairs because I'll get some exercise. But if it is 6 stories or 10 stories or 15 stories, then I get a little lazy and I say, okay, I think I'll take the elevator. Uh, so that's a
But I
very
must say
simple.
that we do not often even use stairs for fourth to fifth. So I live on a fifth story building, and only the reason would be that the lift is not working well, that I have to walk up to 5 floors. Otherwise, 2 floors or 3 floors is okay, but when it comes to five, so you are even younger than me in that case. So
Well,
definitely, I would like our audience to focus on the point that the age really doesn't matter. Dr. Mehra has been retired since so long, but still he's doing much more physically active than what we and our children are doing right now. So we really need to focus on our health, and he is doing a lot to promote health in India, starting from educating our kids. So Thank you so much. And Dr. Mehra, one thing I would like to know more from your experience is any book or resource that everyone should read about health, that can give them the way out of how to move ahead in a healthy lifestyle.
I'll be honest with you, I cannot think of any Indian book or even here, if you're talking about a book for adults, of course, I'm very proud of the book that I have written, which is what we use in our curriculum. Unfortunately, you cannot buy this in the open market yet. What I would request you, all the adults that are watching this session, is if their children are going to school, talk to the principal of the school and say, why isn't health education part of our why aren't you teaching our children how to be healthy? Why are not using this curriculum developed by us? But beyond that, I cannot think of one single book that is available that one can read. But you can pick up health tips all over the place. I think you have to be mindful. You can pick up a newspaper and you'll find health tips. Even I was reading Times of India, now they have what's called Health Plus. Once a week, they have a Health Plus section. So I think it's just being mindful of what you do, and having a healthy diet is not difficult. You don't need a big diet. You just need to understand that half of what you eat in a day should be fruits and vegetables, about a quarter should be grains, and a quarter should be protein. This is a very simple message. This is not dieting. If you just do that, you will be your nutrition will be balanced, and you can stay away from some of these diseases. And apart from that is manage sugar, no more than 6 teaspoons of sugar in a day, and no more than 1 teaspoon of salt in a day. So these are very simple rules. These are not, you don't need to read a thesis on this.
So do you think like, having resources like just we are conducting a podcast here with you. So having an expert on board that will be valuable, like going to sites like Medwiki as is one like we are doing right now. So do you think like such websites can also promote and educate people about health and healthy
Absolutely.
lifestyle?
No, Medwiki, I think, yeah, I would definitely recommend people to go there. I would definitely promote that. And yes, learn about all these things in every possible media or podcast you can go to, and this being one of them.
Yeah, so I think the technology that people are using, they should watch episodes, but they should watch healthful episodes. That's going to be a good combo.
Yes, watch health episodes, and again, reflect on what you have watched. The goal is not just to fill our stomach with information. We have to think about what we have learned. These are life lessons are
Right.
not complex. This is not a You don't need to be you know a very sophisticated or a very learned man to learn all this. Any child can learn it. The messages are very simple, but they need to be reflected upon, and the parents are the role models of these simple lifestyle habits. It has to permeate into our society, and this will take a long time. And this is why we believe that I call children the father of man. They will change society. These children will teach the parents. The parents will not teach the children. The children will learn first about what is good health, and they'll teach their parents how to be healthy. And that is why I say the child will be the father of man.
Yeah, that's really amazing. So, uh, thank you so much, Dr. Mehra, for being here with us today. We are so glad to have you here because the what you shared were some key points that you have actually seen. You're implementing something in the schools, and you've actually focused in so long about how to improve health. That's a real inspiring way of what I can see here. So thank you so much for giving us your time and being here with us today.
Thank you, Prerna, for the opportunity. I enjoyed the session and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.